June the 23rd, Liberty County Commissioners Court regular meeting. Call this meeting to order and let the record show that all commissioners are present today. We do have business for the court. So if you would all rise, Lee, if you'd lead us in the pledges, and I'll lead us in the invocation this morning.
Please face the American flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I guess let's wish it a happy 250
Yes,
years, because we won't meet before then. Face the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
If y'all pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for all your wonderful blessings that you give us each and every day, Lord. And Lord, for all the wonderful things you do. And you lead us through, you guide us, Lord, you protect us. You give us the wisdom, Lord, to make the best decisions we can to help others. And Lord, for 250 years, this republic has stood with your guidance and your help. And Lord, I pray today that you will continue that guidance, that grace that makes us what we are. It's one nation under God. Lord, for all your wonderful blessings again, we give you thanks in Jesus' most precious name. Amen.
Amen.
We sat down 3 whole minutes.
What you doing?
All righty. And yes, it is. We won't have our next meeting before the 4th of July. So y'all get out the banners and the flags. And Sheriff, if somebody over there can make a birthday cake for the nation with red, white, and blue on it, I'll be over here to get a slice. I guarantee you. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. Notices, proclamations. Nobody signed up today, and we don't have any proclamations yet. We will probably have a big one in July. We do have one notice. It's Oh Baby. So if y'all notice, Catherine McCarty's not here today, and Trey and Catherine are brand new parents and a little baby girl. So y'all keep them in your prayers, and we'll see this baby grow up here in Liberty County, and it's gonna, what a blessing. Thank you, Lord. Again, no public comments this morning. So declare conflicts of interest at this time. Anybody have anything they need to declare? None? Okay. Move on to the consent agenda. Y'all had the opportunity to look at that. And if so, I'll ask first, Angela, are there any add-ons today? None? Kim, you have any add-ons?
No, sir.
Boy, this is rolling too good here, Sheriff. Okay. All right, y'all had a chance to look.
Approve the consent agenda then.
All
With no add-on.
Motion from Greg, I'm sorry. Second from Bruce. Approve this consent agenda as stands. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion does pass. Move on to regular agenda. First one's up. Well, Sheriff, it's that time again. If you would give us a report, please, and we'll entertain a motion to accept it at the end of your presentation.
So, Judge, as you know, it rolls along really good until you get to me, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
There you go. So just an update on, I'd always start off with the fire restoration. We're still waiting on the 2 doors. The replacement doors are supposed to be here between November and December. Our exhaust system, the start date is going to be July the 20th, and they'll begin the process of disconnecting all the electrical to the existing fans. There's going to be a crane brought in. It's going to remove the old fans, put the new fans up, and once the fans have been put in place, the electrical work will begin. Right now, as you may know, we're doing 15-minute fire watches. HVAC system work has started on April 27th, continues as of yesterday. All the remaining 10 air handlers and controls, everything's been working. The scope of work is designed to reduce preventive maintenance. This is Cameron. He's our maintenance guy there at the Sheriff's Department jail, and he's just been doing an awesome job. And he's kind of watching over this, and he reports to us and the board and what's going on. The camera system, phase 1, 2 have been done. Phase 1 had 106 cameras, phase 2, 30 cameras, phase 3. The project is going to start in July, August at the time, and there's about 30 more cameras. 30 more cameras to be done. Our doors and locks, the West Hall, it has 6 dorms, and the East Hall, they're all fully operational. Where everything's not operational, we do not have any inmates. I just want to go over that with y'all. The jail entrance slider doors, they've been ordered, and it doesn't look like they're going to be here projected until March of 27, because they got to build those. The ceiling project is actually on the agenda today, and Stephanie and others will be talking about that. The freezer replacement has started. They've torn out most of it, and it's projected to take about 2 to 3 days, and then they'll start putting in the new system. Let's see, maintenance that Cameron and them have been doing. Actually, on the east end, there's 96 cells, individual cells, and they've got to replace the lights or fix the lights. They're trying to refurbish and use them as many as they can. They have to paint, do the toilets and everything, so it's taking them a while. The west end was big open areas, and they can do that pretty quick, but now they're in individual cells. They're working on those. Trinity Glass installed 17 window panes last week, and 14 of them were actually missing. The ones that they're replacing, the outside glass is shatter resistant. The inside glass is bulletproof. So they're actively monitoring, helping with the contractors, the plumbing work and all the dormitories, ABCD, the cells and the daytime deal has been done. Like I said, they're working on the light fixtures and everything else in the 96 individual cells. So they have work orders every day. Commissioner Kowalski's familiar with the work orders they have, and they're staying busy.
Yes, sir. Good
That's
deal.
my report.
Thank you, sir.
So, Sheriff, on it's item 31, so it's pretty far down on the agenda. Will you be making a recommendation on the ceiling strategy?
They're going to make a recommendation on the ceiling. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Answer your question.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sheriff, how are we doing on our budget on the jail repairs? Are we still under budget on that?
It's my understanding we're still under budget.
That would be more of an auditor's question. I don't know exactly how much was set aside, or I know what we spent on POs I've issued, but as far as the budget that was set aside for this, I don't keep up with that.
Well, I would assume they would be on the POs that you're issuing, and if you haven't run out of money yet, we should be on.
Good answer.
That is
Yeah.
right.
I can't give you the exact amount, but I could if you want to contact me later when I'm in
Yeah,
office.
I think that just by my calculations, we are under budget, right?
Thank you, Sheriff.
How can we be out of money? We still have checks, right? I got you. Thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate it. It's, moving on to item 8.2 for me is consider and approve this resolution of approving the assignment. Oh, excuse me. Let me go back to motion to accept on regular agenda.
Make a
Item
motion
8.1.
to accept
Bruce.
informational item from Sheriff.
So Bruce made the motion. David made the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. Said motion does carry. Okay, item 8.2. Consider and approve the resolution of approving the assignment of private activity bond authority to Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. This act will authorize the Housing Finance Corporation to issue bonds for the purpose of obtaining funds to finance home mortgage loans for persons of low and moderate income, homes within the geographic limits of the Texas counties of Austin, Brazoria, Chambers, Galveston, excluding the city of Galveston, Liberty, Matagorda, Walker, Waller, and Wharton, and the Texas cities of Baytown, Deer Park, Dickinson, Lamarck, LaPorte, Pasadena, Santa Fe, Texas City, and Tomball. So this is just approving the assignment of the private activity bond authority. It's not going to be for the counties to have the authority, but it'll be for the Housing Finance Corporation to issue bonds. Is that the way you read it, Matthew, pretty much?
That's correct, yes. So this doesn't obligate the county in any sort of way. All this does is through our membership in Seth approves this use of the money. So they're assigning certain bond money to be used for private mortgages for low and moderate income.
Do we know if any Liberty County residents have ever benefited from this?
I could not say.
It just gets us in the pool?
Yeah, but
That's correct. Well, yes, and as a member, this is, we're kind of acting on as a board member of this organization to do that,
Right.
in a sense.
all right. What say the court?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion from Gerald, second from Greg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Item number 8.3 from Fire Marshal Nathan Green, review and acknowledge fireworks sales in the unincorporated areas of Liberty County, Texas, beginning June the 24th and ending at midnight, July the 5th. This special sales period extended for the semi-quincentennial 4th of July celebration. I'll see if I can get that out in one word. Andy, what we got?
I put that in there just see if you could say it, because
I
I had
did my
trouble with
best.
it. Fireworks go on sale tonight at midnight for the 4th of July celebration. This year, the state of Texas has added July 5th because it was a Sunday, I believe. So, and they go in Sunday night at midnight instead of July 4th. And this is just an acknowledgement that court does not need to approve the sale. It's a guaranteed thing. The only thing we could do is prevent the sale in the situation of a drought, which I don't think we're close to.
I believe pretty much cleared that.
Yeah, so this is just an item for you all to know that they will be going on sale tonight at midnight. Tomorrow's the 24th, and they will be on sale through Sunday the 5th at midnight.
95. What say the court?
So do we need a motion to approve or
Yes, sir.
accept or? Okay.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Gerald, second from Bruce to accept or to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen. Item number 8.4 from our tax assessor collector, Mr. Brown, and Brother Rick, if you would, it's got information item, acknowledgement of excess proceeds in the amount of $48,708.96.
Yes, sir, Judge. Good morning. This is one of those good reports. We're getting money out of one designated account, actually the court funding account, where excess proceeds from previous sales of foreclosed property, where they actually went beyond the taxes and the cost of collection. Just kind of review the person who actually surrendered the property, judgment, and ultimate foreclosure and sheriff sale have 24 months to redeem their property or to actually get it back, get these excess proceeds. Well, they have the right to redeem it first. That's 6 months or 24 months if it's their homestead. But beyond that, 24 months, if they have not asked for any excess proceeds. Because a lot of times, fortunately, in the past few years, with the demand for property and a lot of people moving to Liberty County, some choose to buy these properties and bid on them. Where at one time we'd go to sell and nobody even bid, it'd get struck off and just move on.
Yeah, parking lot's pretty full now.
Yeah, but now it's a pretty live audience that goes before them. And over the years, I always wondered what happened to these excess proceeds. And you can see they were deposited in judicial fund, and we just need to get those back, because after 24 months, it's the property of the entities, but you have to go through a judicial process. You have to go before the district court, and Judge Chambers is the one that actually administers this, because he handles all the foreclosures and sheriff sales. So time and time again, trying to get these excess proceeds. Some of these go back to the mid-'80s, and they just been hanging out there, hanging out several $1 million. So fortunately, it got the attention of the Linebarger firm. We started work with them probably about a year ago to say, let's see if we can move these things and get them back to the entities. And fortunately, they had their first successful one in October 25, and it was a lot of work. They had to go back in and reprove, because Judge Chambers wanted to make sure that this money was going back to the people. If they didn't get it, it does go to the entities, but he had to make that determination, actually make some kind of ruling on it. So the Linebarger firm took a lot of work and time and actually went before him. And in October 25, we were able to get $81,073 back to the county that went back into the budget of the Liberty County. Again, December 25, another $61,526 was put back to the county. And this latest one was done on June 5th, 26, which reported today $48,706.96. So altogether, that's been, over these three tranches, $191,307 of newfound money reallocated. It actually went from one pot to this pot. And now the county can actually have the benefit of it. In addition to this, last draw, the Emergency Service District got $3,124, and the hospital district got $3,084 back in excess proceeds. So they're continuing this process. They're still, and I understand, talking to the Linebarger firm, that Mike Fielder on behalf of Dayton ISD recently got, and we haven't got the money yet, but we'll report that. I think Liberty County got another 40-something thousand, and Dayton ISD got, the majority of the money on that draw. So the firms are still working to get the proceeds back, and it's just kind of an ongoing project. So first, I want to acknowledge the work that Linebarger firm's done on this. They've kind of been pioneers in it. I've been trying to get it done for 14 years. And finally, they took it over, and now, like I said, Fielder is doing it as well. But you have to wait for 24 months, obviously, because the people who lost it have 24 months to claim that money.
If it's a homestead.
And if they don't claim it, no, actually, any excess proceeds, the 24 months, the redemption is 6 months for non-homestead, 24 months for homestead. Two different. That's why they wait 24 months, I guess, to go even beyond that 6 months.
Gotcha.
So the 24 months, the district clerk sends them a certified letter as soon as they get the money to all known parties. And a lot of these things end up going through ad litem attorneys, because we might have foreclosed through an ad litem because these parties couldn't be found. So the same process applies. The ad litem has to address the excess proceeds as well. So,
Okay.
But anyway, I just wanted to report that, and like I said, it's one of these good deals that we can take on, and eventually, hopefully, we get all of those funds reallocated back to the entities where it belongs.
All right.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Need a motion to accept.
Your Honor, there is one minor issue that needs to be clarified. The information I had says 48,000, or actually says $487,086.96. It should read 48,000.
No, it is.
Yeah.
706.96.
40, okay.
Okay, I didn't write the minutes.
706, 96, so there's an extra 8 in there.
48, 706, 96.
That 8 was, the 8 was extra.
That was an itchy finger 8.
Yeah.
Is what that was.
Okay.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept the acknowledgement and to correct the amount to the $48,706.96.
Thank you, sir. I hear a second.
Second.
Second from David. Motion from Bruce, second from David to accept. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye. Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, number 85 from Ms. Holiday. Boy, Melinda, you may as well come up. I got to say something real quick for Melinda. We're going to wear her out today, because this is her last come and get me, y'all. She's fixing to retire. And after 8 years of service, thank you so much. And, I know when Melinda first got here, I got a package deal from the city of Dayton. Hallelujah. David and Melinda both retired from the city of Dayton. And I'm like, hey, are y'all busy? Boy, did they get sucker punched on that, right? Okay. But anyway, David came over and was over permitting, and Melinda was the right-hand man. And of course, when David retired, Melinda took over and has done a splendid job through a lot of growth and a lot of changes in the permitting office. So again, thank you. And I wish you well on your retirement. And we know where you live. We'll come see you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So number 8.5 is consider and approve draw request number 17 for Liberty General Land Office grant number 24065-014E171. Submit mod in the amount of $24,092.75. All the backup for the request is attached in the packet for review. And anybody have any questions about the backup?
Make a motion to approve.
All right, motion from Bruce, second from David to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. The motion does carry. Number 8.6 tags along with 8.5. It's consider and approve payment request from Grant Works for Liberty County GLO grant number 24065-014E171. The MIT mod in the amount of $24,092.75. So there is the second portion. Okay. Motion from Greg, second from Bruce. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye. Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 8.7 is consider and approve a draw request number 18 for Liberty County Drainage Study using the GLO grant funds in the amount of $410,741. And I know we have an item later on that William Conlon's here today to give us an update. So how are we doing so far, Melinda, on this?
I think it's looking really good.
Okay.
I'm anxious.
I am too. All right.
It's a long time coming.
Yes, it has. Okay. What say the court?
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Motion from Bruce, a second from Greg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye. Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 8.8 from Ms. Alday. Consider and approve LJA invoice number 202-621-216 for the GLO grant number 24065-014E171, the MIT mod, in the amount of $410,741. And this is just the second part of the previous
Correct.
authorizing payments. Motion from Greg, second from Bruce. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 8.9, consider and approve payment invoice number 12901.00-29 to Schomburg and Polk for the Ames sanitary sewer improvements using, I'll say it again, maybe 3 times, ARPA funds in the amount of $3,960. Attached to the packet for review is a copy of the invoice signed by Mayor Domain. Melinda, how are we doing on that project so far?
We're doing really well on this project. I believe it's coming to the close. They're getting all their last minute things together, and it should be just around the corner being finished.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion from Bruce, a second from Greg. Pretty sure that was a second.
Yeah.
Second or y'all, one of them. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 10 from Ms. Soliday is 810. Consider and approve of pay estimate number 1 for J&S Water Well for the Hull Fresh Water Project in the amount of $183,425.57 using ARPA funds. The pay estimate is enclosed in the packet for your review. You got anything you want to add to that, Melinda?
If y'all remember, they had to wait for some of the equipment to be finished on the Hardin project so they could start this one. Now their thing's gone and it's started. And it's getting moving.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll say.
Motion from Bruce, I can second from Gerald.
Yeah.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion does pass. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 811 from Ms. Soliday, consider and approve the payment request for LJA invoice number 202-623-457 for the city of Hardin using ARPA funding in the amount of $2,898.50 dated 5/17/26. The attached to the packet is the LJ invoice for signatures. Imagine these have been executed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Hardin,
We shouldn't get any more invoices from Hardin unless they
Okay.
find it, but I think that's it for Hardin.
we've been on these, what, about two years now? A little bit over? Yeah. Good job.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from David. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. And that motion does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. And for your last come and get me, Melinda, we got information item. Of course, I'll ask for a motion to accept. But Melinda, if you would introduce William Common with LJ Engineering and see what we can hear about.
I'm sorry, I haven't mentioned
Yeah,
that.
So William, you got your helper with you.
Yeah, so this is Luke Villanueva. He is kind of our senior APM tech modeler. He's the brains.
Okay.
What, tell me his name again?
Luke Villanueva. Yeah.
Now, all right, this is an update, y'all, for the existing condition modeling results and share some of the maps that LJ has developed on the MITMOD drainage project. Again, this is drainage project for the entire county. And I'm going to explain one more time for those of y'all that wonder about this, why we're doing this. Everybody knows where the water goes, right, Sheriff? At least I'm told that every time I walk out in public, going like, what are you doing spending this money and getting this project done? And, I know where the water goes. Well, you know where the water goes on your property, especially. But who actually knows what the water does that lives in Moss Bluff versus what happens in Moss Hill? My point is this. You have a comprehensive study and a comprehensive plan for drainage for the entire county. This will be shared with every entity that needs it. Okay? There won't be any second guessing from here on out. Now, the reason for this, especially if you want to apply for grants for any reason for drainage, okay, you got to have proof. And if you don't show proof, you're not even going to be considered. And I want to be considered. Every time I say I, collectively we, send in a grant proposal, be it with GLO, be it with FEMA, with anybody, that we say we have the proof that we need this grant to help drainage in the county of Liberty. And that's what started this. That's what's going to make us all the way through the weeds. Someday, maybe we'll consider a countywide drainage district for the entire county. Probably don't see it anytime, maybe in my lifetime, Then again, I could be wrong, Matthew. It'd be something we could look at too. But whatever we can do to help the people understand where the water's going, we're on the right track, finally, because this has never been done. So William, if you would please,
Sure.
it's all yours.
Here, you can use this one if you want.
There's a bunch of them here. I'll give you mine.
So again, I'm William Conlon with LJA. This is Luke Villanueva. He's kind of been the right-hand senior modeler. We have about 9 engineers back at the office working on this project, almost full-time. So you see the large invoices. Most of that is surveying. They're the ones that really gouge you. I'm just kidding. But we have a lot of people doing a lot of really good work on this thing. The packet in front of you that I brought is kind of a snapshot of up to date as of literally Friday. We have completed the modeling of existing condition, and I'm going to declare it about 90% perfect. As with every model, you can go ad infinitum to the end of the world to try to analyze perfection. Our goal is to get to a really, really, really good, strong, solid point of understanding existing conditions. We've spent a decent bit of time surveying structures, putting boats in the water for bathymetric, using the most updated LiDAR that came out of HGAC. We've even supplemented that LiDAR with drone LiDAR that we've collected ourselves 3 months ago because we found part of the channel had meandered 50, 60, 80 feet sideways, the Trinity, over the course of the past 18 months. So we've got a lot of really good information. All that goes into the models, and we actually are creating, I don't want to get too technical, we're creating 2 types of models out here. I think I may have explained some of this in the past, but a rain on mesh model is kind of an urban flood risk model. It's an opportunity to take the rain, dump it onto the surface, and let the water go where it wants to go. It's only hindered by the terrain, the LiDAR, the topo. So we spend a lot of time digitally enforcing culverts and bridges and breakpoints and letting water get across roads instead of having to go over the road, so it actually could go under or through it. So that surface model gives us a feel of how the water gets from point A to point B. The second type of model is called internal boundary condition or applied hydrology. That is more similar to FEMA's regulatory flood mapping techniques, where they take all the watersheds, they understand the hydraulics of it and the hydrology, and apply it to the channel and let the channel flow. And if it ever overloads the channel, it bubbles out and becomes overbanked flooding. So it's more of a riverine study, and the rain on mesh is more of an urban kind of sheet flow study. Luke will have some examples of that in a few minutes. We'll talk from, but the maps in front of you are effectively the 10-year and the 100-year results for all of the watersheds. The front is a 10, the back is the 100. For each of the 8 watersheds we've studied. I also have a big full-size map of the entire county kind of composite. So I'll leave this here. Y'all can take a look at this up front afterwards. I'll also send you the digital files. This one is, I don't know, half a terabyte. I mean, it's a pretty good chunk of data. So what we have been now working on is reviewing the mapping, reviewing the models, double checking that the culverts are in the right spot, double checking we don't have any false ponding areas. So once we clean up the models, we're also going to start calibrating. We have high water marks from the May of 24 storm that came through right around the time we got kicked off. There was a big storm that hit, and we had survey crews out. We picked up, I think, 50 or 60 spots where survey department went out and measured the high water mark at certain points. And so we have the rainfall that triggered that amount, and we can put that rain onto the model and see if it results in the same water surface elevation. So that is kind of the last step we have in front of us to kind of calibrate the model. We have found over the past several months, massaging the N value, which is like the friction of the surface. We had a big data set from the national coverage. And so we started to massage some of the values of what the friction is of the ground. Is it treed? Is it heavily wooded? Is it earth and grass fields? And those all have a different reaction of water flowing across the fields. And so it affects timing, it affects volume, it affects storage. And so by tinkering and tweaking some of those numbers, we were able to get the models to be more reactive, more representative of real life, of what we think we should see. We've also adjusted soil parameters for infiltration, sands versus clays. Sands absorb water a whole lot more than clays do. We had some parameters that came standard, and through research, we saw that the water was just disappearing too much. Like there was too many assumed sands in the channel center lines. So we did some more research. We looked at like the Chambers County master plan that they had done. We looked at some stuff that GLO had done out in this area, and we found that they also had massaged the soil group classifications and limited the absorption rate of the sands. And so we started to play with those values, and we got some much better results, much more, again, representative of what we expected the things to look like. So with all that said, we've had iteration on iteration of modeling. This is our best available data as of today, as of Friday. I think some of our next steps, again, we talked about calibration. One thing that came out of this is you see on here, we have stream labels for all the channels. They have their names associated with them. I know you don't want to be exactly like Harris County Flood Control, but they do have a couple things they do right. And one of them is their naming convention. I think it's a really good opportunity for us to start to develop a more consistent naming convention so that infrastructure can be identified and you have the opportunity for maintenance to speak more, operations to speak more intelligently and consistently across the board. So one of the things we want to recommend and put up for a request is to identify watersheds based on the acronyms. So the first one is San Jacinto, so we would assume SJ, and then develop a number sequence like Flood Control does. And they name the main stems 100. Any tributary that branches off is 101, 102, 105, 138. And then a branch off that is like 101, 04, 101, 07. So as the tribs start to branch off, you end up being able to name things and find it relatively quick. And you know, within the order of the channel, an SJ 105 is relatively low in the watershed and a 185 is relatively high in the watershed. So you kind of get a sense of where it is just by the name of the number. Okay. So we propose to run that trap and start to identify and name these things. It'll keep the locally referred to as name, of course, within the attribute, but this will be a GIS data set that we will develop and, again, turn back over at the end of the project and whatever. This is not anywhere near complete. We still have a lot of good work ahead of us, a lot of fun stuff to identify the problem areas, identify causes and solutions to some of these problem areas. Talking to Melinda just a few minutes ago, identifying impacts of recent developments that may or may not be in the data set that created this. Again, the way the models are built, we have a data set that is a land cover set that is it grass, is it concrete, and those react differently when the rain falls. So if the data set we had is a snapshot from a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, which was the base model we started with, and an area becomes developed, it goes from grass to concrete, but then it goes from grass to concrete with detention, then it may react more like grass just because it goes to detention first. If there's no detention, then we have other issues. So we'll look at some of the updates per se, or the impacts of recent development. We'll try to integrate some of that. Once we get the models finalized, we will have two efforts in front of us, or three actually. One is develop updated mapping that could be ready for FEMA review. And that's kind of this information. Again, as we said, the rain on mesh model is more of an urban risk system. That is not anything that FEMA manages, but it's something that you can now use to better understand the reaction, the cause and effect of systems. You'll see areas that are at flood risk that aren't in the riverine model trigger. Then Luke will talk about some of that in a few seconds. But the applied hydrology models are being built for the purpose of having a flood mapping data set, because it is riverine based bubble out areas of floodplain. So the mapping will be one effort. Again, the problem area and solutions that could become, as you mentioned, projects for the state flood plan to be requested and applied for and documented as a package to go into the state flood plan, to then wait for some funding and opportunities for grants. And then the third one is kind of start to understand, what does the infrastructure need to be for existing condition? Like, solving a problem is one thing, but if we can start to build some sort of roadmap of drainage and have an understanding of what the right of ways need to be or what the channel capacity might need to be or could be or should be, then we can start helping the development community understand what needs to be set aside, where channels need to be or should be or could be. Because like a road, you can always meander a road or bend a road or curve a road, but you really can't tell a drainage channel to move 100 feet left to the top of the hill. So it's kind of handcuffed where it sits in space. So with all that said, we probably have a year and a half, 2 years of really good use of this data in front of us. I think in terms of having a useful data set that the public can start to leverage, probably another couple of months. But I think if we want, I would be okay with some of this being up for review in terms of, we have the website that's the standard, we have a basic website we use for data collection early. If y'all want to take a look at this for a couple weeks or a couple days, any questions you might have, come back and let us know. We could put it up as, very vividly draft, but at least have some information that some people could look at, engineers can look at, community members can look at, y'all can look at. And we can web host some of this data to be a little more, informative. Okay. So with that said, I'm gonna let Luke talk a little bit about the nuances between the applied hydrology and the rain on mesh. He's got some exhibits that he can kind of hold up and talk from.
Okay.
Yeah. Good morning.
Thank you, Luke.
Unfortunately, we made these last night, so we can't hand them out to everybody, but I'm just gonna sort of hold it up and let you guys look at it. So we wanted to zoom in more on a sample area since you guys are seeing more of the watershed-wide models. So we chose right here in Liberty, right where we are, just sort of zoomed in. This is a general aerial view that you guys would typically see on Google Maps or something. And then wanted to show, as William mentioned, we are using the latest terrain data available, the 2024 HGAC LiDAR. That actually just finally got finalized within the last couple of weeks. We were using the preliminary data set. It's finally been completely QC'd by USGS. It's out. And so we're now updating to that final, even though it didn't really change too much. And so that's in that first general area. And then, yeah, just sort of taking a zoomed in view. This is the applied hydrology max extents in Liberty that we're seeing. And like William mentioned, it's sort of just the riverine flooding that you could sort of expect when looking at a FEMA model. And then we also wanted to show some of the detail that we can get with this, where we can see some general flow paths that you would expect the water to take when traveling through this area based on the terrain that I was just showing you. And also wanted to show some velocities that we could, William can keep showing stuff, but what a general velocity map might look like of this same area where we can make sure that everything generally makes sense. We're not seeing 20 feet per second water, or if we are, making sure it's correct, and maybe that's something that we propose to reinforce later. But it also helps us sort of troubleshoot as we're going through. In the southeast portion of the county, we were seeing really, really slow velocities. It was like 0.1 feet per second, and it was taking days and days to drain. And that's when obviously we were able to sort of key into the fact that we needed to update some of those roughness values that William was talking about. And so that's some of that. And then flipping over to the rain on mesh that William was talking about, where if rainfall falls anywhere in the watershed, generally what are we going to see? So it'll show some additional extent that you're not seeing in the applied hydrology. And so it can sort of highlight more of like the nuisance flooding.
Judge, if I can interrupt you just a minute, technical difficulties, it's showing that it's kind of, looks like the video. You're not being televised.
Oh,
Looks like a video. Hold on just a second. Is that what you wanted?
I do not know why the video is cut out. I have no idea. Like, it's recording, but for some reason we're not getting visual.
okay. Hold that thought there, Luke.
I apologize, Judge.
No, thank you. I was kind of mesmerized by what we're getting done here, but
It's recording.
It's still recording, but yes, but for some reason the video just
go to school and figure out all these new terminologies.
Oh, yeah.
Feed you with a fire hose.
Do what?
We're gonna feed you with a fire hose.
Yeah.
All the cameras are on.
You know, William, I got a quick question about one thing.
Thank you.
Or, Luke, I'll probably jump on this one. As developments are proposed
Yeah, we're live. Oh, no, we're not.
and we review
We're on
the
live stream.
site plan, you know, you can plug all this information into that to see if it meets the criteria that's acceptable, correct?
Yes. So, yes. When a developer comes in, if it's a large, they normally will take the most effective model. And from that model, they will put their project in, be it drainage, grading, imperviousness, culverts, bridges, whatever. And we can see the pre and post results and the impacts. Is it going to cause the water to rise because it's less storage? Is it going to cause the water to speed up and flood somewhere downstream because more water gets there faster?
Yeah.
The timing changes. So all of these nuances of storage and conveyance are the two issues we look for. And having these models as a resource will allow everybody in the community to work on a level playing field and understand the impacts of change.
Yeah.
And that change could be a surface grading, it could be fill, it could be a roadway culvert improvement or a bridge improvement. Because if you pull the plug, it's like pulling a bath plug.
Yeah.
The water in the bath goes away, but if it goes downhill, somebody else gets hammered.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I was amazed to hear that number for like the precinct 1 area, you know, on the flow. Man, that's slow.
Yeah.
So when people call Bruce and holler about their ditches not draining, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, I mean, and once we adjusted, it has sped up to something a little bit more than what we'd expect. But yeah, it was taking like 8. At first, we weren't sure because we're also using the GLO model that's already been done for that area. And we're referencing those flows into our model at sort of the county boundary. And for the flows that they gave us, they had to provide 13 days to sort of have the hydrograph go all the way back down to sort of base flow. And the fact that they had to take it 13 days, we were like, well, maybe Pine Island and all those sort of just drain that slow. But we were able to calibrate it a little bit better now.
Okay.
There are other parts that drain very, very slowly as well.
Yeah, I know they are. It's, you know, they had mentioned
you barely see water moving.
Yeah. That was kind of my point, was just because your people holler and scream to get the ditches dug out doesn't necessarily mean digging that ditch out is going to do any good.
No, not at all.
Okay.
So what was
That was one of the roughness values that were being used. It was from the GLO model, but it was a calibrated value that they had already determined for if it's sort of out of the channel already, sort of shallow water, just because it's getting more direct friction from the ground. Where if you have the channel, if it's 10 feet deep, it's sort of on water, it's going. It's not going to be completely contacted by the ground. So adjusting to more of like a general channelized flow, it helped get the water going. It's more what we would expect.
I think we're getting there.
As long as you shut the seals.
try to turn back on.
Stop it and try to turn it back. It's on here, but it's not playing out, but you're not seeing it. Yeah, so I don't know if we're seeing it on Zoom and we're just not seeing it in the courtroom.
We have to make sure the ditch is not on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ditch is. Well, I was supposed to try to start the recording. Starting to.
Okay, do you understand? We're gonna just shut down for a minute, we turn it back on.
Yeah.
So we'll just stop right now.
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to turn the computer on?
If y'all would, we're going to take a recess for a few moments and let Ms. Chambers reset the equipment and see if we can get everything back on again. So just, all right, everybody. Nice to have a short break there for a moment, but we got a lot of good information to cover. Luke, if you would please continue on. I'm not sure exactly where you were before.
No, you're good.
Okay.
I only had about 10 more seconds to go, but at least it gave you guys a little bit of time to look at it a little bit closer, and you were able to hopefully see that there was more inundation in the rain-on mesh, and that's just sort of highlighting some additional nuisance flooding that you might not see with the riverine. So maybe Melinda will see it's flooding at her house this way from just pure rainfall, sort of a low spot in the road that you wouldn't necessarily pick up the other way. And that's pretty much it. Just wanted to show some of the detail, more zoomed in, some of the data that we'll use to then start identifying some problem areas throughout the county.
Good information. It really is. Folks wonder about, our involvement with HGAC and also with, GLO, FEMA. It's the way that this works. And, I get people going like, man, you sure spend a lot of time at HGAC. Yeah, I do. Yeah. But that's how this happens. We get this to rolling, and this information that we're going to be able to share for decades. Of course, it is a living document to some extent, where it would change over the years. But then again, probably every time there's another development that comes in that's going to be added, it's going to change somewhat. But on those maps, you can sure tell that Dayton is 84 feet above sea level. And when you get over to the Liberty side, you can tell they're not. What would be 32, something like that. Yeah. So good information. Thank y'all, gentlemen, so much. We're getting closer by the month.
Yeah, and so one last thing, just as these maps and models are being created, when we do get to a really good comfort point of these existing condition models kind of being the best available snapshot, best available data for the county, it is something that y'all can adopt as best available data for some of the permitting and regulatory purposes. There's some nuances of adopting it for like finished floor elevation and slab elevation and the FEMA level stuff, but for understanding of permitting, for impact analysis of like sheet flow and ponding and volume of water, these can become that data set for the local community, the engineers and the developers to use to drop in their individual systems and see the cause and effect of their systems. Again, it's, during the break you kind of asked, it's the things that could change are the grading of the surface. They can fill an area, they can regrade, they can put in some roads, they can update culverts and bridges, make them bigger, make them wider, make the road bigger and modify the culvert and see if that impacts anything downstream or upstream. They can do detention with increased impervious cover, seeing if they make it concrete from grass and then they put in detention, does it bring it back down to where it was before? So all of these development conditions that an engineer would have to review for permitting purposes, these maps and models would become a pretty easy way for them to start to understand their impacts to the system and provide no impact analysis. So that's one of the ultimate uses, along with identifying projects for the state flood plan and improvements that the community needs.
And
so,
our goal is zero impact, correct?
Yep.
The way we look at it. So
Will there be some user level training? I mean, because, we get requests all the time. I think the judge pointed out that we have a lot of folks that know where the water is supposed to go. and we get requests to put crossovers in, add this or that, drain the water in a certain direction. Will this thing be user friendly enough for non-engineers to go in and look at this to see if a request will make a difference, or will we have to always go back to LJA and say, hey, you guys got to look at this for me to see if this is going to work or not?
So the use of the mapping by the, I'm going to say layperson, just non-tech, non-engineer, is very easy to review and understand. We can develop web portals that allow the mapping to be shown on a time series. Like you can have a slider bar that's like, here is the wave of water from like San Jacinto River, for example. There's 700 square miles upstream, and it's coming down, and that wave of water is 2 days after it rains in Liberty. And so the tributaries will fill up and flood, and then the San Jac will flood and push water back up those tribs. So the trib may have two elevations of flooding, local and riverine. And so we have a slider bar. We have a slider bar that you can slide that duration, and you can see that wall of water work its way down and fill up and bubble out and come back and recede. So the mapping can be done by just about anybody. You can look at the culverts or the how it hits a road and the amount of water that may back up on the road and then spill over just because the culvert's undersized. But the manipulation of the models probably does need to be by an engineer. It is a pretty technical thing. So to understand the cause and effect of changing a culvert, I don't think you can do that from the mapping. So you probably would need some sort of, if you dig in the models, it probably is going to be somebody that understands the models. And that's not something we can technically train on. But any engineer, any developer that does this kind of work, contractors usually have maybe not the modeling side of it, but they understand some of the nuances. You can look at flows. We can have flows as an available resource because that helps with sizing of structures. If it's 200 CFS versus 800, you kind of get a sense of what the pipe.
For example, will this help us size a culvert?
Yes, we can have the models have flow in there. And so if a culvert is undersized, but there's 800 cubic feet per second of the flow rate, by using that and some other small assumptions, we can get a quick an estimate of what the culvert needs to be. Okay. But I don't know the impact if you make that culvert bigger, because just like in a bathtub, if you pull the drain plug, all the water that was ponding up side of the road now goes to the south side and may flood somebody out down there that was benefiting from the retention falsely applied upstream.
I got you.
That happens.
And that happens a lot. So
Yeah.
fixing a culvert is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But now that the models are there, it's a whole lot easier to do it this way than having to create the model or do some high-level back a napkin spreadsheet with a rough estimate. Now you have a level playing field that every engineer, every developer, every county agency can start to leverage, every city can start to leverage for an even playing field.
Yeah, it's tough to piecemeal a model.
Yeah.
I can see that. And it specifically, when you have development upon development there that are contiguous and what the impact would be.
Yeah.
That and that's what's happening now, especially out on the west part of the county. But thank y'all, fellas. It makes better sense every time. And we're the laymen, and it's starting to really make sense to us. So that's the whole idea.
I'm gonna leave the big map here. I'll send a digital copy of this, and I'll send a digital copy of that to Melinda and AJ and to y'all so y'all can distribute.
Okay. Thank you. And Luke, that's pretty good information about how slow things flow out there in precinct 1. I'm sure Bruce is happy to hear that. Yeah, okay. All right. Need a motion to accept the report.
I'll make a motion to accept the report.
Second.
LJA.
Motion from Gerald, second from Bruce. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion does carry. Again, Melinda, thank you again for riding herd on all this, because it ain't been easy. I know that. Okay. All righty, moving on down to 8:13. Consider and approve the extension of the disaster declaration that was put in place on June 16th, 2026, due to severe weather and heavy rain. We have a governor issue the same disaster declaration, which overrides ours anyway. But at this time, I would consider that probably we don't need to renew. But if we're going to renew, we need to get it done within 7 days of the original. Matthew, what's your consideration?
I mean, you're right about the governor's overriding ours. I don't know what the additional benefit, but if it wouldn't hurt, I can't imagine, to go ahead and renew it.
Okay. I wouldn't. Either way with me, it's fine. So what say the court?
So what's the purpose, though, of renewing it?
It's a continuation. We have to renew it within 7 days of the original being declared. And we're right at the edge.
Oh.
So
And
You're
then how
kind of
long will it be in?
approving the original one, but you're extending it to the date we are at now, so that it would cover anything that happened during that time period. And I think there was substantial flooding across the county. I don't know how much damage.
yeah,
though.
we just really haven't received all the information yet.
So we won't know the extent of the damage until some date in the future. So we should then extend this.
Yep.
Err on the side of caution, and at least, if there is an effect, then at least we,
And then it's got to meet the
preclude it.
thresholds established by the state, for the amount of damages before any compensation would come back, right?
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll make the motion to approve the extension of the disaster declaration.
All right. Motion from Gerald, second from Greg. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Likewise, nays. Lee, that does pass. Item 8:14. Matthew, there's an executive session that looks like it coincides with this.
That's correct. There
Okay.
is.
So I'm going to ask that we set this one aside and move on to 8:15. We'll come back to this after our executive session. 8:15, of course, is also an executive session item.
That's correct.
So I'm going to ask that we set that one aside, and that will be held under, as the previous one, 551.074. Okay. Item number 8:16 from our fire marshal. Nathan, if you would. Consider and approve the proposed regulations for board and care homes within the unincorporated areas of Liberty County.
Yes, sir. Over the past several months, there have been a few homes in Liberty County unincorporated areas that are board and care where, by definition, 3 or more people living there that are not related to the owner or the operator by blood or marriage. The research comes down to Chapter 352 does deal with group homes in a county with a certain population that we don't qualify for. But the difference between a group home and a board and care basically is they both are 3 or more people not related by blood or marriage that are living there and paying a fee. Both of those locations will provide residential care services, which is up to short of medical care. The difference is a group home is eligible to receive government funding to cover the cost of these folks living there and to pay for the staff and so forth. A board and care is not eligible for government funding and therefore is privately funded by the people living there. So it's basically an apartment with folks living there that are disabled, aged, elderly, and need help remembering to take their medicine, preparing meals, personal hygiene, up to the medical care part. Group homes are state regulated, and the Department of State Health Services has made it very clear over the last several months of trying to get them to participate in closing a couple of them that have been found that had issues. They are not state regulated, and they will not step in and do anything other than help relocate once the county does it. State requires the county to have a regulation to be able to deal with these locations that we're finding that they're being relocated from surrounding counties that have regulations.
Yep.
So we have become a landing zone for some of these operators. And it's becoming a problem that they're getting more medical calls there and finding conditions that nobody would want their family living in. And I cannot do a whole lot other than get them relocated, but they can open back up 24 hours later and bring these folks back in. So I had emailed each of y'all independently. Matthew, I did not do a group email.
Very good.
I realized it's about 63 pages. The last 24 pages, I believe, is the actual state model of how these locations should be operated and run and the regulations and what they should do. So I'm hoping that y'all had a chance to look at that. I know Commissioner Whitmire did call. We had a short conversation. He had some questions. But that's the bottom line, is I cannot do a whole lot as the fire marshal under the fire code without some sort of county approved regulation.
Matthew?
I've reviewed it. I think this is a great idea. So like the fire marshal said, it incorporates the model rules that are suggested in the code. It actually expands on that too. So whereas the model rules simply state the requirements, a home shall have certain number of square feet per bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Ours actually creates a permitting and regulatory system. So they have to obtain permits beforehand. There are two types of permits. There's the permits for the home itself. There's permits for those who are working there, criminal background requirements for those who are working, et cetera. So I think this is a great step forward and very much needed.
But this one specifically is to make sure that they have an operating fire suppression system, right?
Correct.
Protect the residents.
And at their staff. We're finding ambulance crews have gone to a couple of locations where somebody has needed assistance and there's not a staff member on site and the 11 people living in the house. They're converting garages into 6-person bedrooms. And without anybody there that is in charge that could actually call for help if nobody else could, that actually is a resident paying to live there, that is one of the things that would be monitored. They would have to have 24/7 staff on site, not a resident, to monitor these folks to make sure they do get fed a healthy meal by state regulations, have somebody there to help them to remind them to take the medicine and help them administer the medicine, but not
So
prescribe.
ultimately, it's to help people not be taken advantage of while they're in
Correct.
this care. And then how does the county flood permits department, how does that?
Well, that's the next thing. If y'all agree to and approve the regulations, then the next item on the agenda is going to be the fee schedule that would go along with this. But that just makes sure that they're not putting a mobile home somewhere that it's going to flood.
Yeah.
And then we have a bigger problem of trying to get first responders in there to assist and evacuate.
Like a motion to approve.
Well, one other item too on this, the court needs to appoint a hearing examiner who will hear appeals from the fire marshal's decision. So the rules appoint the fire marshal to, make the decisions to revoke, deny permits, et cetera, based on the applications or conditions on the ground. And it sets up an appeal system. So a hearing examiner needs to be appointed as well.
Okay.
Since that's not on here, is it something we do at the next meeting, or do you want?
Well, it's an item in the rules. It just that part needs to be filled out, more or less.
That can be addressed at the next meeting. If y'all do agree to adopt this, that's all I'm asking for today. The effective date would actually be September 1st, which in the rules, they have 60 days for renewals and for applications to open. So adoption today, getting it into effect, gives more than 60 days before it would actually be fully enforced.
Okay.
To give them time to actually fill out the application and go through the process.
Is it possible that you could send us information on these so we can cross-check it with guardianships that are in place in this county to make sure we don't have a party involved?
Okay, I guess I need a little more information when you finish with that statement. What do you mean have a party involved?
A ward
Award, yeah.
that is subject to guardianship
Okay.
that may be housed in one of these facilities. We need, I
But
would just like
yes.
our investigator to cross-check it, make sure that
Without
one
a
of the
doubt,
parties
Without a doubt.
is not subject to a guardianship that the
Because how
court
I'm
has.
finding these is the ambulance crews that are getting called to these locations and finding the conditions that they're in, and my hands are tied right now, but with this, I'd be able to go out and do something about it.
Good.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion from David, a second from Bruce. Any further discussion? I doubt we're gonna hear much.
Just questions.
Yeah, it's good information, and it's a good cause. In that case, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. That motion does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. Don't sit down yet, Andy. We got one more to go.
Oh, no, two more.
Two more. Yep. Okay, we've got,
I'm trying to take after Ms. Holiday.
yeah, consider and approve, 817, consider and approve the addition of the fees for the board and care homes to the county fire marshal fee schedule. And I hope you've all received that fee schedule, had the opportunity to look over it, but it does make good sense.
And what this does is, and to your question about the floodplain, this is what's already in place with the permits office, and it's required of any new business.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure it's very clear that that would be a requirement, because these will be considered a commercial location. So therefore, they need to go through the full permit office procedures. And then the fees on the above, as far as the location, the fee for that, the fee per employee, and those permits are only good for the one location. If one employee wants to work at 3 locations, they would have to get 3 separate permits.
Okay.
So each permit is only good for the location on the application.
Matthew, any considerations?
No.
Okay.
No, and these are the same as our current fee schedule.
For the permits office, yes,
Yes.
these are new fees under the fire marshal's schedule.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, a second from David. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, number 818 from Mr. Green, consider and approve the commissioning of Fire Inspector Hannah Cooper as a peace officer with Liberty County Fire Marshal Office. This is for the purpose of administering local government code 352 in regard to enforcing building codes, hazardous materials, recommendations involving building safety and supporting fire-related operations and investigations. This is authorized by the Texas Penal Code, Article 2A, 001-330, and is in parentheses, defining who is a peace officer. Matthew, you got any?
That should say Code of Criminal Procedure, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
But other than that, so this is relatively new legislation. And I don't see a problem with it. But I think this needs to be conditioned on the commission only including the powers under 352. So the officer would only be able to enforce the Chapter 352.
Subchapter B.
Subchapter B, yeah.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Well, it's a new law that came into effect
Mhm.
that was added on September 1st, 2025.
Okay.
It allows for a fire inspector or investigator who is not otherwise a full T-Col officer to be commissioned as a peace officer for the purpose of enforcing building codes, fire codes, outdoor burning, and fireworks.
Okay.
That would allow them to write citations, but does not give them arrest powers or any other, they will not be running traffic or anything else. It's just simply limited to the powers of subchapter B of chapter 352.
So 352 is fire code.
Chapter 352 is local government code that creates my office.
Okay.
Right.
That's
So-
what it says, y'all can have a fire marshal's office and I can be a.
So one of the issues we have in the permit department now is that our DRs get frustrated when we red tag culverts and septics and whatever, and people just disregard it because they know they have what Melinda chime in 90 days or 180 days till the next.
Yeah, they're supposed to get it taken care of within 30, or at least contact our office by 30 days. And it never happens.
But there's never any response. Well, I can give you numerous examples where this has gone on
We
since
can talk about
I've
that.
been there. Is there any way that this role could be expanded to help issue citations in the future, as soon as we figure out the proper legal codes to get that done? Again, we don't want anybody arrested or anything, but there's got to be some punitive actions on people who simply won't comply with the rules.
There is a statute, the statutes are out there that says they can be issued a
Okay.
citation.
But for today's purpose, it's just for this 352.
I can't speak to 352 allowing Ms. Cooper to issue citations on behalf of the permits office for those items because they're not necessarily in the fire code. So
Okay.
I would have to look into that a little bit further.
Okay.
My initial answer would see, no, she would not be able to, but that does not prevent myself or investigator Gaines from doing the same.
Okay, and then I look at the sheriff, we don't have any problems.
Well, she wouldn't be commissioned under PICO.
Right.
No.
No,
I had no problem.
Her powers would be limited to subchapter B of chapter 352 related to fire code and the regulations of chapter 352. only.
We need that too.
And that prevents it for when we're out doing fireworks inspections during season, that if she finds something that warrants a citation, she doesn't have to call me over there too.
Okay, and of course, my other question is, will this come with a pay adjustment that we will have to do?
I won't turn it down for her.
No, I'm
No,
it's a question. It's a question. If we're approving a person with a position, is it automatically assumed that there is a
No, there was not.
pay
Not at
increase?
this time.
not without commissioner's court.
Specific again, I'm just wanting to make sure, because is that going to be on the next agenda?
No, it won't be on the next agenda, but
You see what I'm saying?
it was part of the
How
budget
this
hearing.
kind of works, we get it approved, and then, oh, wait a minute, we need to compensate that person for the additional responsibility that they carry. I understand that. It's not, I'm just saying it.
That was part of my proposed budget for next year, was to have that considered.
Good.
But it is not an automatic expectation.
Okay.
So what say the court? Approve? Bueller? Ferris?
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Thank you. Got a motion to approve from David.
You good with that, Sheriff?
Yes. I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Got a motion and a second. Motion from David, second from Gerald to approve. Is there any further discussion at this time?
And I do want to clarify that that motion also includes the addition that those powers and duties will be limited to chapter 352.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you,
Very
Andy.
much.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Number 819, from Matthew, consider and approve the transfer of an existing deputy position previously assigned as Endeavor's ISD School Resource Officer from the Liberty County Sheriff's Office to Constable Precinct 2, the 2026-2027 school year. Sheriff, y'all had it since it started.
Yeah, I'm for this.
Okay.
Makes anything any different.
All right.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from David to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 820 from Commissioner Whitmire, consider and approve the request to clean out the drainage on the property of Eric Broussard at County Road 3188 in Cleveland, Texas. This is crossover drainage that runs through this owner's property. Picture showing the backed up ditches are attached to the packet. Dave, you got anything you want to add to it?
I mean, we're not going maybe 75 to 100 feet. We're not doing any we're not doing any digging. We're just going to push the debris over the years.
Just need court permission.
And we have permission from the owner in written.
Absolutely, yes.
I believe it's his request, in fact.
Yeah.
There's a few points here. There is a statute that governs this, Transportation Code 254.008. It requires us to send out notice, even though it is this owner's request. We're still obligated to send out notice before we do it. So as included in the final.
Well, we
motion.
tracked him down. He didn't come to us.
What's that?
I mean, we went and found him to see if we could clean
Oh,
it out
okay.
on his property.
Okay.
It wasn't his request. It was ours.
In the packet, it was. It sounded like it was his request.
No.
But this is an improvement on the whole community and not just the individual.
Oh,
that has-
absolutely.
That's what brings me, is we need to really
Yes.
substantiate here
Yes.
that there is a public purpose and it doesn't benefit a single individual.
Correct.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah. Maybe, Commissioner, could you, just for the record, kind of describe the drainage in that area and how the drainage interacts with the road ditches right there?
Yeah, I mean, the whole road, it backs up all the way out to, what is that, 319, New Salem Road? So the water comes off it, travels this road down to the guy's property and then goes into the creek. So it benefits numerous houses.
And this is a dead end road and
Correct.
the, I guess the intersection of this, the drainage on the private property and the ditch is right there at the end.
Right, yes.
A lot of these older developers had put drainage through property that wasn't deeded, where they, as stipulated as a drainage ditch. And
Yeah,
throughout
that's
the
right.
years, they have grown up, causing the entire neighborhood to back up. I have several of them on my
And this is one
location
of-
also.
This is one of those.
That
So,
if
Yeah.
we don't get it cleaned out, then everybody floods.
Yeah, the same thing.
So I would just ask in the motion to approve that it also authorize my office to send out the notice that's required under the statute, and that it be conditioned on an executed agreement where this owner holds us harmless, holds the county harmless, and gives us the right to access the property.
I'll make that my motion.
Hang on.
Well, he's already given us permission.
Yeah, I think it should still be in writing though, just for clarity's sake.
So we have if you look at the development of the Dayton area in the last 30, 40 years, the developer there put ditches between people's properties and did not necessarily grant easements. And because they were private property, some of these, what we see is development all the way to the property line, fences, buildings. We see, and there are any number of huge trees. So you can imagine how big a willow tree can get over time.
I've got people running fences down to the bottom of it.
And they're, I mean, just tremendous. And so if we're going to be expected to do this, we're talking about grant funds to, because the neighborhood, I know every one of us are having the complaints right now because of the rainfall that we've received in the last 6-7 weeks. And a lot of it is because of these ditches are plugged. And I mean, to the extent that he can do this work and benefit the entire community, I applaud that. That's what we should be doing. But to tell you that this is a remote one-time incident, it is not.
No, but there's
We're
a lot
talking
of
about tens of millions of dollars to correct it.
But there's a lot of
We don't
owners
have
that won't let you on their property. to
Exactly.
Clean it out.
Now, I understand that.
Yeah, better developers will make sure that there's an
So-
easement covering it and either granted to the county or a POA.
But this is a huge issue. This is not. So this won't be the last time that this comes up in the foreseeable future.
Okay, got a motion?
Need a motion.
I made my motion.
Okay, Bruce.
Second. Never mind, go ahead.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. First word, second syllable. Sounds like.
Which one is it?
Bruce made the motion, Greg made the second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Go to work, David.
And Lee, thank you for getting figured out how to make this motion. Okay. Item number 821 from Mr. Dennis over in the IT department. Consider and approve changing internet service providers for Justice of the Peace 2 at 401 Main Street in Bezetta from Frontier ISP to Highline ISP. New service fee will be $149 plus taxes and fees per month with a $99 one-time installation fee. So need new IT service over there, huh? Okay.
Make a
Come on.
motion.
Come on up and give us a little bit of information.
Okay, so JP2, their service has been down for over a week, possibly more. There's currently no ETA for any resolution from Frontier. And we do have them on a temporary backup for right now so that they can continue to operate per usual. However, Highline, of course, is going to offer them better service. Funding $149 a month, taxes and fees additional, plus the startup fee of $99. We'll just stop one, start the next.
Angela, you have
Make a
any?
motion to approve.
Second. Oh, good. Okay. Motion from Bruce, second from Greg.
Yeah, Highline is the company that's been boring and
Yeah.
knocking all the water lines out, but they.
Well,
It's
at least we
better
know
than
where to
what they
find them.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. 822 from Mr. Dennis. Consider and approve changing internet service providers for Constable 2 at 3556 FM 160 from Epico, hope I said that, PCO, whatever, cellular device to Highline ISP. The new service fee will be $149 plus taxes and fees per month with a $99 one-time installation fee.
Same old from the last. Make a motion to approve.
All right. Motion from Bruce, second from Gerald, I believe that's it.
No.
David? All right, thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Sometimes they just kind of all get there together and it just hits one time. Got a motion and a second, further discussion. Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 823 from Mr. Poston is consider and approve amendment to the current sick pool policy, changing the maximum hours an employee can receive to 480 hours from 720 hours to mimic the Liberty County's current 12-week policy, providing for automatic termination of an employee whose combination of any type of sick leave with or without pay exceeds 12 weeks. Sick Pool Committee voted to make this amendment on June the 8th, their last meeting. Kim, anything?
This, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Currently, the sick pool policy allows individuals to receive hours that they would not be able to use if the handbook policy limits them. So,
okay.
So yeah.
So we had contradictory rules in place.
That's right.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right.
Second.
Motion from Gerald, second from Bruce. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. 824 from Mr. Poston, consider and approve a resolution accepting a petition for the creation of the Sterling Traditions Public Improvement District and setting a hearing on the establishment of the district. Okay. A PID. Come on up. Yeah. That,
Gregory Miller with
Gregory
staff.
If you would, well, let's hear the story.
Okay, sure. And if I'm going to, just let me know. But
No.
I think you're about to explain what a PID is. Okay, so Public Improvement District, known as a PID, is it's an area of land. It's basically, typically, it's a neighborhood development like this one. And the properties inside that district are assessed a levy against their property. The levy is used to pay for public improvements that benefit all the properties in the district. So basically, it's an assessment district, funding improvements. This project here, the assessments, as I understand it, are going to be used to pay for park improvements primarily. And y'all know where this is?
Yeah.
Okay.
South of Dayton, 0146.
Yes, sir. It's about 475 acres. And as I understand it, there's also a mud on top of it, but the mud cannot pay for the park improvements.
Right.
So that's the purpose of this. So a highlight of the process here is this would do the first step, and that is publish notice of the hearing to create. That would be on July 14th. This notice will go in the Vindicator, and then it will also be mailed out. July 14th, you'll need to consider creating the district. And if you do that, the next step is to work with the PID administrator, who's Scott Bean, and the developer to figure out what the exact amount of assessments are and how they're going to be laid out across the property. The development agreement has the county undertake to seriously consider issuing PID bonds, which are paid for by the assessments. So as I understand on this one, what would happen is the developer would, there's two ways to do it. The developer could do the work and then the PID bonds reimburse, or it can be like a typical pay-as-you-go kind of construction agreement where the PID bonds would use like on a monthly disbursement kind of thing. So that's typically the idea. The assessments would pay off the bonds over time. So the next step, just to summarize, would be create on the 14th, and then the next steps were really just kind of dependent on how long it takes to determine the assessments. And then after that, y'all will be considering levying the assessments.
Okay. So this is established through local government instead of legislative action, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So what is the benefit to the county to hold this bond? We're going to have to collect the assessment, and then we're going to have to pay it back. So, money's going to come in, money's going to go back out. So there's a burden on county offices just to administer this over a term of 30 years is what I saw in here.
Yeah, that would be expected amount. It is a burden. The idea is that the assessments will be at a level where the district would compensate for its costs of administering the district. So part of that is the county's costs, which are baked into it, and then the PID administrator is the one who kind of keeps track of who's paying it over time.
And this only applies to the people that live in the district. That's
Yes,
it.
sir. Yep, they're the only ones that get assessed. And I do need to make a note about the bonds as well. They're not like a typical bond that you would issue against the county's full faith and credit. They're special assessments that are paid solely by the revenue. So worst case scenario, the bond orders cannot collect off the county's general funds. Solely from the assessment.
So this Sterling tradition, the folks out there that are buying property is going to have PID tax plus mud tax out there. It seems to me like developer is trying to shift more of him developing it back to the people that are buying it than he does to
That's right.
develop it himself. And because you said the PID is going to be for recreation and the amenities and stuff out there, not just the road on which the mud is covering the road. So what's the developer doing besides collecting money for the lots he's selling?
It's a good question. I don't understand how they do their financing plan. I can say that one thing that you can do that I would recommend, and this adds to the burden, of course, is the hearing's set for the 14th, right? If y'all approve this. That doesn't mean you need to approve it or take action. Y'all could also look at doing a PID policy, which a lot of folks do. And there's a concept in there, it's called the maximum equivalent tax rate. So you would add the assessments up plus the tax rate, and y'all could say, we don't want to create a PID if it's going to be above X amount. Usually what happens is you'll look around the comparable properties, determine what their tax rate is or what other PIDs are, and you can do a policy that sets that.
Mm-hmm. Brother Rick?
Yes, sir. Of course, a lot of this throwing around assessment kind of rings my bell as the tax assessor, and also the collector, and also the county has to enter into a collection contract to collect for entities. It goes on a consolidated tax statement. Has there been any discussions about that in the context of this? We do have one PID in the Dayton area. They assess, I think it's like $26,000 assessment. People know that when they buy the property, they have to pay out this 26 or 24,000. They have two elevations, 24 or 37,000. We send out a consolidated financial tax statement. We collect that money and we pay it back out to the PID. But that's by virtue of having a contract with Commissioner Court, just like we do on all of it. We charge 32 cents per account. And that is the only revenue we get, like we get for any entity that we collect taxes on. These are kind of special assessments because they are obviously the people that are paying them are the users of that subdivision. But again, there are costs affiliated with the additional work we do for the assessment. 32 cents is all we get towards that. But to me, it dictates that the county agrees in their agreement, in their contract, that that has to be actually included, and that's part of an agreement that we have. The vendor staff created that for us over the years, updated it, and that's what we use each time we add a new. So just throwing that out there.
Is that the impact fee that the city of Dayton charges, that $26,000?
No, that's for water. Yeah. This is totally like, I think it's West Point, and that anyone who bought a lot out there, they know on their front end. Of course, most of them, we were concerned from the kind of the public relations. People would call us up and say, why do I have this big assessment? But so many of them were mortgage related and it just was added to their note. So really, it went pretty smooth. We started this a couple of years ago. We had very few phone calls about it, but we wanted to make sure from the PID people that we had a readily available number. We could just refer them because we didn't think our office needed to explain to them the whole PID process and all those things. We were concerned about that. The one actually went through fine and really had no problem with it. But that's kind of in the agreement. When they go to their closing, they're signing the document that says, I agree to pay this PID assessment. That's the people that are buying it from the developer. And once they pay for it, they can pay for it all at one time, or they can spread it out over the 30 years. And it's paid for up front, it's fine. It's no servicing after that. It's one and done, and then it's done for that lot. Unless I don't know if they can come back and do some additions to it. But we get a copy of that document, but we didn't really want to get tied into being the explainer to the end user. So we were careful about that.
Again, I guess
that's a good option.
I'm sorry, there's no representative from Sterling Traditions here. Because I still need to know what is the benefit to the county.
Yeah.
So this is, the main kind of idea here is that all of the public improvements, so that could be, I think in this instance, mainly parks, but it could be streets, street lights, things like that. All those costs, instead of being borne by Liberty County taxpayers at large, are being borne by only those people who live in that district. So it's a way of making sure that the costs don't get distributed, to a large point. Now, to Commissioner Karbowski's point, I can't really opine on the legislature's wisdom in creating this method, but it is something that developers routinely now rely on. And so it's another tool in the toolbox.
Yeah, this is a $20 million PID.
Yeah, what's our legal stance on approving or disapproving this?
Well, at this point, today is only about notice.
Okay.
This is not about necessarily approving or disapproving the actual substance of it. It's just about whether or not to send a notice out so that you can have that vote. So
there'll be a public hearing, but they said they'll mail to the address of each owner of the property, but there's only one.
Yeah,
that's correct.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Yeah.
And of course,
this is why they do this early in the game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In the ones that we've approved here in the past, we've gotten maps and drawings and presentations on what the PID will cover, like green belts and ponds with fountains and running trails and such things. Are y'all going to present that?
I would assume that, yeah, it would be us, it would be the developer, because, my position is, of course, I'm not advocating for anything or trying to put the development on y'all. So the developer would be responsible for that. I do also want to mention something. I think one thing that did change over time since y'all got set up is that now the PID administrator can be the one who fields those phone calls from the homeowners and walk them through that.
We made that clear to the developer, that was gonna be that way, and they assured us, they would be able to explain that. But again, the person who's actually taken over and until those lots are sold, the developer is the one actually has that assessment, but I don't think they pay it, they just pass it on to the transfer, when they sell it. But the people get all the information, but again, it's just like any closing, you're signing all these documents, just like what I sign, read and sign. But this one has a pretty good hook on it, because it's saying, in addition to what you're paying for the property, you're also paying this additional assessment that is, it's stated, this is how much it is up front, and if you pay it over time, we'll finance it for you, and your payments are this. But once they do it and they sell it to someone, it's over with. They've already paid the developer back. Right?
But
It's rolled into the
I can imagine a new couple coming in to buying a house and all excited and just going in there signing the papers. Oh, we got this. And it's more of a buyer beware. At the end, they're like, oh my God, we didn't realize that we had to pay all this money
it's just like anything else, just like your taxes and your insurance and all those things. Those are all gotcha things that come along with the deal, but you are fully disclose that, on the front end. And it's just like a lot of things, but to me, when you were talking about who's going to be this person that's going to decide if it's competitive rate, or we as a commissioner's court we're going to research all the area. I mean, that's creating an ominous job for someone.
Yeah, it gets put on the developer, and that'd be part of the presentation.
Yeah,
it was referenced that when they show up, there'll be the maps, there'll be the illustrations, and there'll be a table. And usually it pulls from a few comps, and it'll show.
And I'm assuming, Judge, I don't know if we've had one of your workshops on this particular presentation, but it may be some.
We touched on it before, but not to this depth.
But it may be a suggestion that we educate ourselves on it and get that information from them so that we kind of know what we're dealing with. Because right now it just seems like it is a tool that they can use. It's totally done throughout the state. We're just getting introduced to it. This is like our second one. But I imagine there's plenty more on the runway that we're going to probably be exposed to as these developers come in, because they know that's a tool that they can use. And they start laying PIDs on top of muds, on top of TERS, and all these things take administration, and it takes someone, particularly in my office, figuring out how to assess them, and then how to tell the entities they got to pay it back. We have developed reports to say this is how much we collected, and working those out. But these are more and more things that are being added as maybe not a benefit to the county, but it is an administrative role that seems to be passed on to our office. Because again, the auditor clearly wants to know before you ask us to reimburse money that, first of all, you collected it and that it's the right amount. And so each year I have to come before the court and tell them, this is what we collected, this is how much we need to reimburse them. And these checks are getting pretty big. As you can see, they're growing, especially over 25, 30 years, is as the value increases on TERS, not on the PID. The PID is set, but this is just a general overall concern. And the judge and I have had conversations that this is becoming more and more of an administrative project that once you sign on the line that we've approved it, then 25 years later, you're stuck with doing these things administratively. So it may be food for thought to get a little more information on exactly what we're facing before. I mean, I know right now they're having a hearing, that's all set in place, but I think there needs to be a little education amongst this group as well, hearing it straight from the developer, the PID developer, and all these things. And I would encourage that if we could get some more information.
Well, I'm sure I'm gonna talk to them right after this.
You're the messenger, I know, right?
Yeah, no, but I'm happy to let them know, and I think they'll be expecting that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So Matthew, what's your recommendation?
I think at this point, I was trying to refresh my memory on the statute, and maybe Gregory is definitely the expert on this. I don't know if we have to accept the petition if it's filed, if it's a shall, but I think for y'all to even get to the merits of this and to actually weigh the pros and cons and, you know, whether this is advisable, I think y'all need to get to that hearing. So I would counsel y'all to accept just so that you can consider it more fully.
Okay. So approve. I don't have a problem with the approval right now. It's just when we get down to the final come and get me in the weeds, the acceptance at that point.
I mean, you know, I read language in here and it gives you all the system, irrigations that we're going to pay for irrigation systems for all these parks and all. And it says, including similar offsite projects that provide a benefit to the property within the district. And then you go in here and the resolution says that the Commissioner's Court of Liberty County, all of the above recitals in this resolution are found to be true and correct factual determination of the county. I don't know that, you know, that's the kind of things when I read, I struggle with, because maybe I don't understand the legal ramifications of what's written here in these resolutions and why they're written. But anyway, it just, no one's here to explain to me what the advantage is for Liberty County. So,
well, okay. This is a 1,000-acre pasture. Okay, and you got a fence around the pasture, and you got cows that live inside the pasture, and these cows are paying money to live there because they want the improvements. That's it in a nutshell, and they're willing to pay that because they live in that pasture. They got better grass, they got better water, and they might even have a slide to go down if they want. So, you know, that's pretty much it. I mean, you're paying for it. And is it a benefit to the county? Probably on the valuation and assessments. You know, would be the improvement for us or the consideration for us. So there it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the developer would say truly, but I'm betting what they would say is they would not be improving this area in this way, but for the PID.
Yep.
Meaning that they're not going to build a park unless they get this.
yeah, because I want to know what kind of streets they're building right now. Because I know they're building.
Hey,
They're out there. I want to know what they're providing.
Yeah.
Matthew, under local government code, chapter 372, one of the things it does give the county the authority to do is to create an advisory body to develop and recommend an improvement plan on these things. Maybe that it's 372.008. If you want to take a look at that first.
I did see that, and it's certainly something Commissioner's Court could look at it. The advisory body, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, it says after receiving the petition, the governing body, that's the county, can appoint the advisory body with the responsibility of developing and recommending an improvement plan to the governing body. So that might be an interim step if you don't want to take the petition right now.
Well, the whole thing is this gets the ball rolling, so we can consider that.
Yeah, but do we want the ball rolling?
We do. Yeah. There. So I would ask that you approve the resolution. Let's get the ball rolling. We'll come back and we can have our discussion about what we need to add to it. Clarify to get Mr. Brown happy out there on his end, since he's got the fishing pole and he has to catch the fish and drag it into the coffer. Okay.
All right.
So this isn't the final approval, it's just part of the process.
It's part of the process.
It's just approving notice so that you can have the hearing where they'll come and explain these things.
Okay. So what's in the court?
Well, I'll make that motion.
All right.
To approve that.
Got a motion from Gerald to approve the resolution. That will get the ball rolling. Do I hear a second?
Second.
That was David?
Yeah.
Thank you. You got a second from David. Okay. Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays.
Nay.
Got 2 nays.
Was it 2 nays?
Yeah, Greg and Bruce.
Okay. I'll break that with an aye.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the motion does carry. Let's get the ball rolling.
All right.
All right, Greg. You know what you got to do next.
Yes, sir. You'll be seeing the advertisement and then I believe the next issue of the.
Okay.
All right. Good to see y'all. Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
Mike, Carol, can you touch that air conditioner control light up a little bit where it, I need a parka.
Yeah.
It was hot before and I
Yeah,
bumped
it
it.
was steamy in here at the
Good with
beginning.
Lord have mercy.
Everyone's alert.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Okay. Well, Sheriff, we're finally to you on the 825, but doggone, we take no action on this because we already approved it. But anyway, I'll read it consideration. Approve the request from Liberty County Sheriff and the Liberty County Jail to replace the current cable service provider Comcast to QCTV Dish Network. It'd be a one-time startup cost of $15,324, it looks like. Is that correct? That was from a while back. The recurring monthly service fee of $133. The jail currently pays $742.98 for Comcast. This contract will be paid using commissary funds. Evidently, when your lady sent it over here, they didn't see that it had already been approved back in April.
Yes, sir. It was approved on the commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It was on the agenda on the April 14th. It was item number 2 under 8. It
Yes,
was
sir.
approved.
Okay. So we got the Dish Network is
Yes, sir. It's installed and doing good.
good deal. All right. So I need a take no action motion on that, gentlemen.
Motion, take no action.
Motion from Bruce, second from David to take no action. Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. And item number 826 from Mr. Poston. Consider and approve appointing a member of a commissioner's court to the current jail committee to serve as a liaison between the committee and the court during construction of the new Liberty County Jail. So who wants to be on the,
Bruce?
I would suggest Commissioner Korbowski.
Second.
I would second that suggestion. Okay, so we got a motion. Dave, was that a motion?
Well, I was seconding Matthew.
I don't know why
Yeah, I'll
motion-
make a motion.
We're gonna promote
Bruce.
Matthew today. All right. We can make the motion.
Is that all
Okay.
right, Bruce? Okay.
Got a
I'll
motion
second
from
it.
David, second from Gerald to throw Bruce out of the frying pan into the fire. Okay. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Thank you,
Thank you,
gentlemen.
Bruce.
Not a surprise.
Y'all have fun with that, there, Sheriff. Okay. Number 827, also from Mr. Poston, consider and approve interlocal agreement with the City of Liberty transferring jurisdiction of fire and inspection services of county-owned and or maintained buildings, hallelujah, within the city limits to the Liberty County Fire Marshal. Andy, you've got a problem with this at all?
Just some of the wording, I think, should be clarified. The authority having jurisdiction power should be what's the ILA's for.
Yes, yes, yeah. So without this, the City of Liberty Fire Marshal has jurisdiction. We're transferring that authority to the fire marshal. which can only be accomplished through an
Well, does
island.
Liberty have to approve this too?
They do. They have not yet approved it. Informally, it sounds like it would be acceptable, but they have not reviewed it finally.
Yeah.
The main purpose was for the new jail project, but I think it might make just as much sense for county fire marshal to have jurisdiction over all the county buildings too.
And
I'll agree.
Liberty Fire Chief is in favor of this.
Okay.
That he was?
He is in favor, yes, sir.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, a second from Greg to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 828 for me is consider and approve the salaries for elected officials for fiscal year ending 2026, 2027. I hate to tell y'all, but you're not getting raises this year. The salaries will stay the same.
Going
I'm
to
gonna
the
tell
new,
you- I'm gonna
going
tell
to
you
the
why.
new jail.
So, yeah, we'll tell you why. We're building a new jail and we got to be smart about this. Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion from Bruce, second from Gerald. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 829 for Mr. C. Or Stephanie. Consider and approve the purchase of 2 new trucks with equipment and upfitting in the amount of $150,677.24 from Parkway Chevrolet through buy board contracts number 734-23 and 798-26 for the sheriff's office. Pretty self-explanatory, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to approve, as long as we can keep them apart or keep them from wrecking.
Good luck with that, Commissioner. We got a motion from Bruce, a second from David. Any further discussion besides don't wreck them?
Don't wreck them.
Okay. Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Let's see. 830, also from Stephanie, consider and approve the purchase of a new Tahoe with equipment and upfitting in the amount of $82,117 from Parkway Chevrolet through the Goodbye contract number 268F00 and buy board contract number 798-26 for the sheriff's office.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion from Bruce, second from David. I assume with the same stipulations there, Bruce?
Yes. Let's try to keep at least 6 months or so.
Is there any further discussion?
We'll make sure you get to all the committee meetings on Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay. That's the best one you've had in a long time, Sheriff. Atta boy. Call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 831 from Mr. C or Stephanie. Discuss, consider, select one of the following options for repairs needed at the current jail. The following quotes have been provided from Gordian with FH Paskin through Sourcewell, EZ1QC, contract number TXR2GC 052124-FHP for the current Liberty County Jail. One of them is for ceiling repair for $144,760.49. The other one's for a ceiling replacement at $420,762.66. I'm kind of like my dad used to say, can you make it a little less? And I know what we're doing, but considering the shape of this existing ceiling, we need some recommendations here. And
Well, the jail team did get together when we were presented with this need for the current jail. We did ask FHP to provide us 2 options, and I would like them to talk to you about those. Before they get started, Cameron is here. He's over maintenance at the jail, and he was going to explain quickly why this repair is needed and what exactly it is.
all right, Cameron?
Hi. So, long story short, in a way, during our last inspection for jail standards, they came through to look at the facility, and Inspector Garrett saw the ceilings for the hallways for NP2 and JKLM. What is happening is those old light fixtures that were on the ceiling never had any support structure for the weight of those lights. And their order lights are about 40 pounds along that way over the centuries of that jail, being there. The cracks were going from light to light, cracking across the entire part of the ceiling, which was dragging the ceiling and blowing the ceiling down. With that being said, when we went to Austin for the jail standards meeting, we met with the building department for jail standards, and they said that we had to fix it. It was not really an option, and at the start, they were forcing us to replace it. After some weeks of more pictures for them to see it, they gave us the option to repair it instead. So just be repairing the existing stucco that is there instead of ripping the entire ceiling out and putting a new one in. The reason they are allowing us to repair it is because they do see that we are building the jail in the future. So it kind of depends on your options while FHP will explain it in a sense. I don't know how jail standards will take it if you don't replace it. And then if you plan on reusing the building afterwards, you might run into an issue with that. But if you do repair it, you at least know you're good until the new facility is built.
And that would be my major question is whether we're going to reuse this building afterwards. And after spending the kind of money, taxpayer money that we're spending on this building, I would say definitely yes, if there was a way we could reuse this building, afterwards, and to put $144,000 into repairing something we know that's going to get worse. Anyway. You're going to change out anyway. I think this is kind of a no-brainer. Replace the ceiling as long as it is in the budget that we already have established. Would be my recommendation.
Well, I was just gonna, the reason FHP was gonna talk was mainly to point out that the repair comes with no warranty.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah. So.
So if you want them to explain the difference, or y'all just want to make a decision to do?
No, I'll make the motion to replace the ceiling at the $420,762.66.
I will also note that these are two different ceilings in a sense. You are ripping out a stucco hard ceiling, and you're going to expanded metal and drywall.
Yes.
So.
Okay. All right, Bruce made the motion. Dave made the second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, do we get the answer that this is in the budget for this year?
And Angela's not, she's my go-to. And the last I heard, Commissioner, is yes, we were still in the budget.
Yes.
I would like by our next meeting that we have some numbers from the auditor's office, please.
I can tell you our current amount that is in the line item that we believe that is being used for the jail. We got it from Natalie earlier. It is. This is what's left, not considering any invoices that are still outstanding that we have not received. Around $3,700,000.
Yes, so over half. Yes. Yeah. Great.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. So I don't think our committed cost on things that are outstanding would exceed that amount. So yeah.
All right, got a motion and a second. Motion from Bruce, second from David, and with discussion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. And that is to replace the ceiling.
Replace the ceiling.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Number 32 is an executive session item. I would ask that we set it aside for the moment. And we'll move on down to 8:33 from Commissioner Whitmire. Consider and approve a contract with Gators Hauling and Junk Removal for trash pickup along County Road 332 and Plum Grove Road for $1,000 the first month, $800 for thereafter. I know y'all get covered up with trash out there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Cut through roads and they just throw.
You know, I've looked at this and if you send your troops out there to clean up trash, Bruce.
Oh, I know.
It's $1,000 a day. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And you're pulling them off of other work.
Yes.
So you have to kind of weigh the odds here. You're not going to probably talk the public into going out there and picking up trash.
And I'm planning on getting some cameras at a later date. So this is until I can get some cameras like the sheriff.
And the sheriff isn't going to be taking any trustees out there.
Right.
It's a little too far to go. Yeah. Second. All right, got a motion from Bruce. Second from Greg. Any further discussion?
One question, how often will they pick up trash?
Twice a month.
Twice. Okay, thank you.
And the money is coming out of his budget.
Show that.
I hear
All right. Call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays.
I got my hand in his
That
pocket.
motion carries.
anyway.
Thank you, gentlemen. Number 834. For Mr. Poston, it's an information item, so I'll be asking for a motion to accept in a moment. Received audits from ESD number 2. ESD number 3 is required by Health and Safety Code, section 775.082. Matthew, you got anything to?
No, I just remind the court, I think y'all are aware that all the ESDs have to provide a full audit
Right.
by June 1st of each year. There is a mechanism where y'all could grant a 30-day extension if that is requested. We have not received any requests for an extension. The major penalty here comes in September, on September 1, if they have not submitted the audits, then the treasurer and president of each of the ESD boards is removed.
Yeah.
So at this point, I've only received 2 of the 4. I'm hoping we get the others real soon.
So we haven't received anything from anybody except for 2 and 3.
That's correct. Yeah, so far, unless it's sitting in an inbox with,
I believe 7 sent theirs in a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Missing one.
Okay,
Number
well,
1.
so we're just missing 1. That's,
Number 1.
that's, yes, exactly. Oh, well, and both.
So number 1.
That's Kennefic, right?
Kennefic, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Make a motion to accept.
Gerald, need to call Steve and tell him to get on.
Yeah, no, I'm texting him right now.
All right. Motion from Bruce. Second from David. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye. That motion to accept is accepted. All right. Item number 835 is executive session item also. I'd ask we set that aside for the moment. We'll move on down to 836 from Mr. Poston. Consider and approve final draft of rules of procedure, conduct and decorum, governing meetings of the Commissioners Court, as well as a required form for submission of all agenda item requests. Matthew, I believe we revised it and got it all sent back in. It all looked great to me.
Yes, yeah, I believe it's in form that's ready for final approval. There was only 2 changes that the court suggested last time. One, to have a distance requirement for media in locations other than this room.
Right.
And then also the requirement that the regular and special meetings be recorded, but not live streamed.
Right.
So other than that, it's ready. The form is attached to it, a PDF fillable form that I've had many revisions on to make sure it actually works. It is also ready, and after approval today, I'll make sure it gets distributed to all the department heads.
Great.
So make a motion to approve.
Motion from Bruce.
Second.
Second from Greg. Any further discussion?
I have a few questions, of course.
Of course.
So when we get the exact wording of an item, do we need to route that through your office? Because sometimes, if it's not worded properly, then we can't act on the way we think because we don't think like attorneys.
Sure. So if you're feeling unsure or lack confidence in the wording, then please send it my way and I'll help you.
Okay.
But also, the form requires suggested language and then also requires a description of what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
So when Dee Dee gets it, if there's any questions, I'm always available, or Catherine at some future date to be able to handle that. So
okay. So when I look at it, the first 3 items, the first 3 categories, they must be filled out completely, right? To get it on the agenda. They're going to go to DD, right? But then when you get to item 4, it says contract. So 4 is contract information, and then 5 is an amendment or a change order. So if you check no on those, then there's nothing else to do, right?
That's correct.
Okay. But if yes, then you have to fill out the remainder of the
Yes, yeah. So if it's
categories,
if it's a contract, then you would have to fill out the contract section. If it's an amendment or a renewal or something like that, then you would have to fill out those sections.
So then when I get to number 6, fiscal impact, I don't see a category for a budget amendment. Oh, I see. It's in the current budget. Okay.
You would still, so the form doesn't replace the, the procedure for actually getting a budget amendment approved through court. So that would still have to be taken care of. I would suggest that you get the auditor's office to sign off beforehand. Maybe they could even do the budget amendment, with it.
So, and then executive sessions, we have to check to see if it meets the criteria to have an executive.
If you request an executive session, then yes, please do it. And then, what you think would be the exception, please put that. Well, like I said, we can review.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have a question for our office. Though.
Sure.
And anyone that uses the consent agenda, who do we get those approved by? Do we turn them into your office?
Oh, no, we would still go through the normal procedure. Yeah. So if it's a consent, you put, I think there's a little, checkbox there that you can either have it for consent, regular, or, whatever.
And then
just hit consent, and then Dee Dee will know to include that under.
fill them out and send them to Dee Dee?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, there's a deadline for submission. It's the same one that we already have in place for Wednesday at noon.
So then the last question I have is on the required reviews and approvals. Is this a yes or no slot for that? Or, I don't know that I need to get Dwayne's or your signature prior to the meeting.
If it's something, so I think my idea here was if you've obtained those beforehand, then that should be noted there. And that way the rest of the commissioners court will kind of know it's already been through review and, we're prepared to speak on it. But if you haven't obtained that review prior to, then, may or may not get a in-depth discussion.
Okay.
Got any more?
I went through the whole form.
All right. Got a motion from Bruce, a second from Greg to approve with discussion. Call for a vote now. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. Motion does
Motion to
carry.
go into executive session.
Okay. We're getting there. Okay, it is time to go into executive session. So Bruce, you made the motion. David made the second. Call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. We are in executive session. It is now 11:25. Back in regular session. It's now 12:37. Thank you. PM. Okay. All right. First item up is item number 814 from Commissioner Caloric. Consider, select, and approve the appointment of an interim director of the Permits and Inspection Department to begin July 1st, 2026, and until a permanent director is appointed. What say the court?
I make a motion to approve Cicely McKinney.
Spell it, Cecily. Anybody got spelling?
I have no idea.
CECILY.
Okay, that's pretty close.
CECILY.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, that's a motion. Need a second?
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from Greg. Any further discussion?
I just want to say that we interviewed all three And we felt like any of the three could have taken care of this position and taken care of it very well. Just want to say it was a pleasant surprise.
Decision.
Huh?
It was not an easy
No, it was
decision.
not. It was not an easy decision.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving over to item number 15, consider and approve compensation for the selected interim director of permits and inspections department.
Right now, I would like to table this till further meeting or
Workshop.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and second that motion. I do want to point out that we'll schedule and have a special meeting Monday. Discussions with
Wednesday.
When
the following Wednesday.
Yeah,
We
Wednesday
could-
the 1st, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday the 1st.
Well, Wednesday the 1st, we could do it Monday if we post it today. It has to be 3
Yes.
days,
Yes.
3 business
I
days.
can't post it today because I haven't been able to talk to Dwayne. I'd like to post it tomorrow.
Okay.
And so that would put it
Set
at
as
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Set for Tuesday.
May I please ask that you do not do it on Tuesday?
Why?
Because I'm having eye surgery Thursday and I go back to the doctor on Tuesday and I can't be here.
There's nobody to take your place?
I hadn't trained anyone, so, and I can't Zoom it, so I'm asking, please don't do it Tuesday.
Well, we'll do it Wednesday.
We can do it Wednesday. Wednesday works.
Okay.
Okay. So in that Wednesday meeting, it's going to address 2 positions within the permit department, just so for everyone's, so that we, and we're going to have to do budget amendments to address that.
Okay. So that's a motion to table from Bruce with second from Gerald, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Further discussion. Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion does carry. And easing over to item number 832, consider and approve a variance to Liberty County's current 12-week policy, providing for automatic termination of employees, combination of any type of sick leave or any type of leave with and or without pay may exceed 12 weeks for county employee. Well, this is Mateus Perrier. P-E-R-E-Y-R-A. Lee, got any idea? Perea. We'll try that. Currently on military leave. Current policy does not consider military orders. And approve a variance on this simply because it's a military order.
Correct.
Yes, yeah, we do not have a choice here.
Yeah.
This individual deserves a job, is required by federal law to keep his job here. So I think we do need to look at some point in the future, amending our policy to account for this so that variances aren't required as it occurs.
Yeah, by federal law or state law.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
might need to amend our
Yeah.
Policy and procedure manual to account for.
But at this point in time, I make a motion to approve the variance.
Yes.
Are you seconding?
Huh?
Did you second?
Yes.
It's an involuntary second.
If you say I did, I did.
Yeah.
I said yes.
Got a motion from Bruce, second from Greg to approve the variance in this request. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion does carry. Item number 835, also consider and approve offer from Mustang Pipeline for $7,500 for the grant of a pipeline easement across certain property the county owns near County Road 2312. The CAD property ID of 131140.
Make a motion to approve the offer of $7,500 from Mustang Pipeline Company.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from David. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Man, I already wrote it down. There you go. You gonna make a change? Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, thank you. Got a motion from Bruce, second from David to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we are adjourned at, what time is it, Lee?
12:44.
12:44. Thank you, ma'am.